Hey everyone. Have you ever felt like giving up just because your hard work didn't bring fast results? You start learning English, hit the gym, or pick up a new skill, and in just a few days, you feel like it's not working, so you stop. But what if I told you, the biggest reason why most people fail is not lack of talent, but lack of patience? Yes, patience. A small word that holds the power to change your life forever. In today's story, we'll follow a young boy named Roman who wanted success badly, but wanted it fast. What happened to him? And how did one simple lesson from his wise grandfather turn his entire life around? And as we go through this inspiring story, you won't just learn the secret to real success. You'll also improve your English naturally with every sentence. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and watch till the end, because this might just be the video that changes the way you think, learn, and grow. This story is about a boy named Roman, who lived in a quiet little village surrounded by green fields and tall, swaying trees. Roman was smart, kind-hearted, and always ready to work hard. He had big dreams and a fire in his heart to do something meaningful in life. But there was just one thing holding him back: he was incredibly impatient. Roman wanted success, and he wanted it immediately. If he didn't see quick results, he would get upset and walk away. He would begin things with great energy, whether it was reading, working out, or learning a new skill, but after a few days, his interest would vanish. He didn't give his efforts the time to grow. He often looked at successful people and wondered, how did they become so amazing? In his mind, success looked quick and effortless. But whenever his own efforts didn't bring instant results, he felt like a complete failure. One day, Roman was feeling really low. He was tired of trying and then quitting. His mind was full of confusion. So, he decided to visit his grandfather, who lived just nearby in the same village. Now, Roman's grandfather was known for his wisdom and calm nature. People often came to him for guidance, and he always had the right words at the right time. When Roman reached his house, he looked worn out and frustrated. His grandfather greeted him with a warm smile and gently asked, "What's troubling you, my child?" Roman slumped down on the wooden bench and sighed, "Grandpa, I try so many things, but nothing works. I start something and give it my best, but there's no success. I feel like maybe I'm just not good enough." His grandfather nodded, listening patiently. Then he leaned in slightly and said, "Would you like to hear the real secret behind success?" Roman's eyes lit up with hope. "Yes, Grandpa, please tell me." The old man chuckled softly and said, "Let me share a story with you, a story about the power of patience. Many years ago, in a quiet little town, there lived a young man named Jason. Just like you, he had a big dream. Jason wanted to become a great sculptor, someone who could turn cold, lifeless stone into beautiful, breathtaking statues. He wanted the world to admire his work and remember his name. One day, while walking near a mountain, Jason came across a giant rock. It was rough, solid, and incredibly heavy. To most people, it looked ordinary, maybe even useless. But Jason saw something more. He believed that hidden inside that rock was a masterpiece, a statue waiting to be freed. All he had to do was carve it out. Excited and full of energy, Jason picked up his hammer and chisel and began his work. Every morning, he rose early and spent hours striking the stone, shaping it little by little with his tools and his hands. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the rock barely changed. It still looked like the same old chunk of stone. There was no clear shape, no beauty, just dents and dust. Jason began to lose heart. Doubts crept in. Maybe I'm not good enough, he thought. Maybe I chose the wrong rock. Maybe this just isn't for me. One evening, as Jason sat beside his half-carved rock, feeling defeated, an old sculptor happened to walk by. He noticed the sadness on Jason's face and stopped. With a gentle voice, he asked, "Why do you look so down, young man?" Jason sighed and replied, "I've been working on this rock for so long, but it still looks like nothing. I thought I could create something amazing, but it's just not happening." The old sculptor smiled warmly and said, "Let me tell you something important. Every beautiful creation takes time. You can't hurry art. You can't force greatness. The beauty inside that stone is real, but it won't come out if you give up. Patience is what brings it to life. If you quit now, you'll never know what masterpiece you left unfinished." Jason listened closely. Something about those words struck a chord in his heart. The old sculptor's wisdom felt like a light in the darkness. From that day on, Jason made a quiet promise to himself: he wouldn't give up. He went back to his work the very next morning. But this time, he didn't focus on how much was left to do. He just focused on showing up, every single day. Jason didn't stress over the final statue anymore. Instead, he shifted his focus to carving just one small section at a time. He stopped worrying about the whole picture and simply paid attention to each swing of his hammer, each tap of the chisel. Slowly, the rough and uneven edges began to soften. The hard stone, which once looked like a lifeless block, started to whisper its hidden shape. Days quietly slipped into weeks, and weeks matured into months. And then, after all that steady effort and silent perseverance, something magical happened. A beautiful, graceful statue stood proudly before him. Word spread like wildfire across nearby villages. People came from different places just to witness Jason's creation. They stood in awe, admiring the beauty, the detail, and the emotion carved into stone. They couldn't believe it was once just a plain rock. Jason, the same young man who had once doubted himself, had now become the sculptor he had always dreamed of becoming. But the reason he reached that point was simple: he didn't stop. He didn't give up when things felt slow or hopeless. He trusted his journey and showed up every day, even when progress seemed invisible. As Roman listened to this story, his eyes widened, filled with wonder. Something about Jason's journey deeply moved him. He looked at his grandfather with curiosity and asked, "So what you're saying is, patience is one of the biggest keys to success?" His grandfather smiled and nodded gently. "Absolutely, my dear. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they stop too soon. They expect instant rewards, and when things don't happen fast enough, they quit. But success, true, meaningful success, comes to those who stay in the game, even when things are slow and boring. You need to trust the process and keep moving forward, no matter how long it takes." Roman felt something stir inside him, like a tiny light switching on. For the first time, he began to understand something deeper, something he had never really thought about. But at the same time, he still had a question that bothered him. He looked down, then asked softly, "But Grandpa, how do I actually become patient? I try, I really do, but sometimes I get so restless. I just want things to happen fast." His grandfather chuckled warmly and said, "Ah, a very good question. And the answer lies in 5 simple yet powerful lessons that life has taught me." Seedling 1. Focus on progress, not perfection. His grandfather leaned back and said, "Success doesn't require you to be perfect. It just needs you to improve, bit by bit. Even a 1% improvement each day adds up to a massive transformation over time." It's like learning English. You won't speak fluently overnight, but if you improve just one sentence a day, one word, one pronunciation, then after a few months, you'll be surprised at how far you've come. Don't sit and wait for perfection. Instead, get excited about progress. Even the smallest steps matter. Roman sat quietly, letting those words sink in. He suddenly remembered how he had ignored his little achievements, finishing a chapter, understanding a tough word, waking up early for just 2 days, and how quickly he had dismissed them as not enough. But now he realized that those small wins were not small at all. They were building blocks. From now on, he promised himself to recognize and celebrate even the tiniest growth. Cherry blossom too. Enjoy the journey. His grandfather continued, if you plant a seed today, will it become a big, strong tree tomorrow? He didn't wait for the answer. Of course not, he said with a smile. It takes sunlight, water, care, and above all, time. Life is just like that seed. You can't force it to bloom. You must enjoy the process of growing, not just the result. Otherwise, you'll live your whole life rushing to the next thing, and you'll miss the beauty along the way. Roman smiled. That hit home. He had always been in a hurry, to finish fast, to win quickly, to get results immediately. But now, for the first time, he understood that the real joy wasn't just in the result. It was in the journey itself. In learning, in improving, in making mistakes, and in starting again. One day at a time. That's what Roman's grandfather always said. You don't need to conquer the mountain today, he smiled. Just take one solid step. Then another tomorrow. That's how you reach the top. Fire 3. Learn from failures. His voice grew deeper, more serious. Roman, do you know who your best teachers are? Roman shook his head. Your failures, said the old man, looking him straight in the eyes. Mistakes are not your enemies. They are your personal guides, here to teach you something you couldn't have learned otherwise. Every time you fall, you grow stronger. The only real failure is quitting. Those words echoed inside Roman's heart like a bell. He suddenly recalled all the times he had given up too soon, when a book felt too difficult, or when he skipped his practice just because progress seemed slow. He thought of the skills he could have mastered, the goals he could have achieved, if only he had stuck around a little longer. That very moment, he made a quiet promise to himself. Next time things get tough, I won't walk away. I'll keep going. Flex biceps 4. Build daily habits. Big success, his grandfather explained, isn't about one giant leap. It's about showing up daily, even when it's boring. He leaned closer. If you read just 10 pages every day, you'll finish dozens of books in a year. If you work out for 10 minutes every day, your body will become stronger without you even realizing it. Roman's eyes lit up with hope. For the first time, success didn't feel so far away. He didn't need to become a superhero overnight. He just needed to show up, every day, and do something small. Something doable. Whether it was learning 5 new English words, or practicing speaking for just 10 minutes, consistency would bring the change he wanted. Sparkling Heart 5. Practice gratitude. Whenever you feel restless or impatient, his grandfather added gently, pause and look around. Notice what's already good in your life. Be thankful for it. Gratitude is a secret medicine. It calms the heart and brings joy during difficult days. That night, Roman started a new habit. Every evening before going to bed, he opened a small notebook and wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. Some days it was as simple as, I had a delicious lunch, or, I understood a new English phrase today. But slowly, this tiny ritual made a big difference. He began to feel more peaceful, more grounded, and yes, more patient. Glowing star. A new beginning. Months quietly rolled by. Roman started putting each of these lessons into practice. He didn't try to change everything overnight. He just made small adjustments, but stayed consistent. Some days were slow. Some days were tiring. But unlike before, he didn't give up. He kept going. With patience in his pocket and a smile on his face. And slowly, life began to change. His grades started to rise. His focus improved. His confidence grew stronger. He began to enjoy learning, even when it was tough. He developed better habits. He spoke with more calmness. He laughed more. He felt proud of the person he was becoming. Years passed. Roman, once a boy who couldn't wait for results, had now grown into a calm, wise, and successful businessman. People admired him, not just for his achievements, but for his mindset. Whenever someone asked him, "What's the secret to your success?" Roman would simply smile and say, "The power of patience." Because now, he truly understood, success doesn't belong to those who run the fastest. It belongs to those who keep walking, step by step, without giving up. So, what did Roman really teach us? That success doesn't shout, it whispers. Step by step, day by day. It doesn't come to those who rush. It comes to those who wait, work, and trust the process. Whether you're learning English, chasing your dreams, or just trying to become a better version of yourself, remember Roman's journey. Be patient, celebrate small progress, and most importantly, don't stop. Because maybe your statue is still hidden inside the stone, and all it needs is a little more time and a few more steady hands. If you felt inspired by Roman's story, tell me in the comments. What's one area in your life where you'll now choose patience over quitting? And if you want more such stories that boost your mindset and your English at the same time, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.